lights are mysterious from somewhere in the universe. Planets and quasars with all kinds of hidden mysteries in the galaxy. NASA hiding secrets and astronauts discovering things. Mysterious societies from a far along galaxy. Societies on Earth that have been destroyed with their own hidden secrets. Mysterious objects that surface from nowhere and yet are unexplained and how to use. Whole temples full of ruins, secrets, and hidden treasures. And most of all, objects from outer space that come with visitors that only want one thing. You're watching Hidden Truths. Hello, and welcome to Hitting the Truth. And today, we're doing flat earth theories. There's going to be a lot of little video clips of people trying to convince you that the world is flat. The problem with this is over 6,000 years ago, they, determined that the world was round. Let's not forget the solar cycle that we have, which the sun goes up and down, which means the world is spinning around, and lots of other different things that says the world is round. Some of these flat earth theories could actually convince you that the world is flat. But once you got that type of knowledge, what can you do with that? Literally, besides argue people all day that the world is round. No one wants to go back to the time period where they were already saying, hey, the world is round or the world is flat. And they determined that the guy that actually proven that the world was round ended up getting killed for his belief system. And then later on, hey, they believe the world is round. It's just so stupid. Plus, they try to prove astronauts, NASA, and spaceships are all fake and put out there to brainwash the people into believing the world is round. So we're going to get into this. We're going to watch several clips, and it's a thing, but it's a theory, a conspiracy theory. But what is the truth when you come down to it? Is the world round or is the world flat? If you believe it's flat, then, more power to you. If you believe it's round, it makes a lot of sense if the rest of the planets in the universe are round. Other planets in the universe are all round. So, it just doesn't make too much sense. It goes back also to a time where people believed in China that turtles would carry the world on their back. Or a time period where, people believed that Earth was in this shell. There's lots of different belief systems on how Earth was created and where Earth is and all this. It's in the eye of a dragon or whatever crap. There's all these different stories, okay? But none of those people believe that stuff anymore today. But people want to believe the world is flat like on a map. And this is also the start of a couple religions, several religions in the past, where they try to prove that the earth was actually flat and not round. So, they're just going to get into it, And here we go. Okay, here's our first flat earth theory based off of water, and it's saying that water isn't what they're telling us it is, and now the earth is really flat.
You are not supposed to think about this. You are not supposed to know about this. It should not even enter your cranium if you are the ruling elite that want to manipulate you. This is what water looks like through a crystal glass and with the sun's rays shining through it. Does this look normal? Does this look explainable through modern science? Or does this look like we're seeing a reflection of water being alive, sentient, conscious, and living? Look at this. It looks like a portal. It looks like an energy transfer. It looks like a dimensional shift. And this is what water does when light shines through it. Now, the other interesting thing is the studies, yes, by Masaru Emoto and other men like Victor Schauberger and researchers over the years.
I have to pause right there for just to say this one little thing. If you look up some of these names on some of these things they talk about, you'd be surprised on the stuff you may find or not find. There's something about an ice wall. I might play that video if I can find it. If not, the next time I talk about flat earth theories, I will. but this guy was 100% saying that this is the guy that discovered this and that. I looked it up, could not find one person with that exact name or a person that came close to that name. And it's like, whoever's watching this, of course, they're not going to search the theories, because a lot of people don't do that. They don't search the truth. They're not looking for it. They believe the truth and the fact is right there in that video. So I looked it up. I researched stuff going all the way back to the 1800s with people with that name, where it originally came from. Even the original Latin term of the name, which was John Constantine. And nowhere in that stuff was John Constantine, not unless you're talking about a DC comic book warlock hero that we all know in movies now, with Keanu Reeves played him, and the whole thing with the CW. But other than that, there's no such thing. So I'm curious. I haven't looked up this guy's names that he's yelling out here, but if you did, most likely you'd be surprised of what you might or may not find, like I said.
Finding out that water actually has a lot more going on than we may think. There was a woman who did a live blood cell analysis, where she did the live blood cell test, where you take a little prick of blood, put it on a thing, put it on a microscope, and you could see your blood cells in real time on a camera, on TV, okay? She went in the other room, away from her blood cells that were on this sample, and she began to visualize the happiest moment of her entire life, and she intensely visualized it. And in the other room, her blood cells started vibrating rapidly and got excited. They redid this test where she visualized the most traumatic, horrible thing that's ever happened to her in her life. She began crying. She really relived this experience. And the blood cells started clumping together, which is indicative. That's how they find it. Someone who's depressed, for example, they'll pull up on a live blood cell test. Your blood cells are all clumped together. You're not feeling good. You're not happy. So her energy transferred from her body to the blood cells that were outside of her body. Chi transfer. And of course, 70, 80%, 90% of our blood is water. And 70% of our bodies are made of water. So what do you think positive and negative thoughts have as an effect on your body, for one? And secondly, in another video, if you want, comment for part 2, and we'll do a full deep dive on water being alive, conscious, and retaining memory. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and follow for more.
So I don't know what that really has to do with the Earth theory being flat. So it would have been more of a video where you say, okay, this is meaning that water might have somewhat of a live aura to it. This is what the video is about. But it's under the flat Earth theory, which makes no sense. The whole experiment he's talking about, where blood being alive and all that, that's automatic knowledge, okay? You should know your blood is a living thing that keeps you alive. And blood is life, okay? This is not something I just said. This is actual saying, going back way long ago. This is why a lot of people want blood sacrifices and all that, because blood is life. So by him explaining all that crap, it doesn't really make any sense at all, okay? And yes, your body's made of 70% water. Okay, and the oceans itself is supposed to be 70% water, but no one's counting how deep it is or how it goes underneath the earth or through the earth, and through every tree and everything else. Water is another thing that is life. So in the sense, yes, water can be alive as well as blood, and I don't doubt that. But once again, that doesn't prove the flat earth theory, but we're going to find out if we can. So here we go. Okay, this video, this guy's trying to use the sun as a way to explain flat earth theory. Now, he's not using the sun in the sense of, like I'm saying, on the solar cycle, where he explain how it goes up in the morning and down at night, dusk till dawn. No, he's just going to explain the sun and how he thinks it's false, fake, and is being sold to us as a way to explain something that isn't logic. So here we go.
Most people will never be able to zoom into the sun this close, because it costs about a $40,000 setup with the lenses and fancy camera. This is not AI. This is the sun. Now, some will call it solar flares. All I know is this thing looks like a freaking organism. And if they're lying about the moon landing, if they're lying about space, if they're lying about the nature of our reality, then you can also imagine we may have been lied to about the sun. This is footage of the sun with a whole bunch of basically sunglasses on the freaking lens of the camera to be able to see it in detail. A ball of gas and fire, I'm not sure. It actually looks like a molecule or some type of organism with a...
Looks like a tennis ball to me, but yeah.
A microscope. And I don't think that this is 93 million miles away either. That is almost 100% guaranteed a complete lie. Now, the other thing is, if the Earth has its own consciousness, maybe some people call it Gaia or Mother Earth, it has its own consciousness, microcosm to macrocosm, then would it make sense that the sun is an inanimate object, or that it too is sentient and some form or another living? Because crystals, Nikola Tesla said, are also living. We just don't understand them. I wonder. All I know is a ball of fire, I don't know, maybe it's pure light, perhaps it's a portal. Remember, you got to unlearn all the things you think you learned. Look at this frickin' thing, man. That's the sun.
Well, yeah, I know it seems like I wasn't paying attention, but 100% paying attention. I understand what he's saying about organisms and all that, but none of it, once again, explains flat Earth theory, because he's not talking about a lunar cycle. If you're going to explain how Earth is flat, explain how the sun will move across the Earth. Not just that, explain the lunar cycles. Explain why there's a total eclipse of the sun, or why there's a lunar eclipse where the moon disappears. Explain these type of things. But to have a super microscope or telescope, to explain the lenses and why it doesn't look like a real thing, like an organism and all this crap, you know what I'm saying? If you're using a telescope, period, you're looking in the sky. So you're automatically looking at the sun. Now, if you're using more enhancements to make you get closer to see it, then you're still looking in the sky. So obviously it's not something that someone did in a laboratory with a microscope to show you an organism. That sounds retarded. Now, if you're in a laboratory and you're looking through something and it looks like that, then okay, that makes sense. But if you're sitting there with a telescope, because that's the whole thing, you're looking up, you're looking far away, then that means that's what it is. It's just that simple logic. Once again, this is not explained flat Earth theory, and between this and the water so far, it proves that the flat Earth theory people have no sense of what the hell they're talking about. They're just throwing out a bunch of random facts and hoping that it will stick with people who don't really understand geography or any of that stuff. Okay. Now this clip here is once again another flat Earth theories. As you see, it says NASA workers with a little laughing ass off face. And this is a very short video. It's only 10 oh shoot, it's only 10 seconds long. Excuse me for that. And they're trying to say they're redoing the moon landing. Let's just watch it.
Siamo qui letteralmente sulla Luna a lavorare, guardate laggiù la terra intera e qui stiamo montando i pannelli solari, che spettacolo. Guardate, guardate. Qui i miei colleghi stanno dando il massimo. Siamo qui letteralmente sulla Luna.
So that's it. They're saying the whole moon landing's fake. They're walking around making a big stage so everyone can see it. It's hilarious in a way, and especially the fact that they're trying to say they're Hispanic workers. It's even more funny because they don't give a shit what Americans do. So yeah, they would expose something on a video camera. So yeah, retarded. Okay, so this next clip, this next video is about the moonwalking, spacewalking, not moonwalking, but just walking pretty much in space around your ship. And they're trying to say that this is part of the flat Earth theory, and that is fake. Pretty much. We're just gonna get into watching it because they got a lot of stuff where they're trying to expose the fact that there's a flat Earth, that we're never been outside of Earth as astronauts or spacecrafts or any of that. Okay, no satellites, any of that. None of it's in space. Okay, it's all manufactured for our own entertainment and to make us believe in something that's falsehood. This is the common theme with flat earthers. So here we go. All right, here we go. You determine if this is false or fake, or maybe even for a movie set or something. I see nothing at the moment that shows you that it's a falsehood of Earth. And that the fact that you don't hear sounds, because people say there's no sound in space. Even though some guy who did a David Bowie song on the space station and all kinds of stuff. But anyway. So that was a spacewalk. So like I said, you see nothing in that clip indicating anything, but there's tons more, so many more of how they use space and astronauts and NASA as a way to explain flat Earth theories are actually 100% real. Why do they do this? Because they have nothing else to really work with. So anyway, here we go again. Now here's a scientific theory on flat Earth, or the flat Earth theory, where they try to say the Parliament is doing things. I tend to believe the Parliament has been destroyed. This is my own personal opinion, and it was destroyed at the time of Noah's flood, and that's half what the rain was. Because if you know about the Parliament, there's water on land, on Earth, and above it, which is supposed to be the Parliament, right? It's supposed to be this ice thing that surrounds Earth. But if you think about it, okay, an asteroid's made of ice, so it comes through, breaks that thing, hits Earth, cracks it, spins it. That's why there's all these fault lines: the San Andreas Fault, the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, all these different fault lines, okay? And so rain is going to come. Why is it going to come? Because things burn in re-entry on Earth. So all that ice that falls turns into water, turns into rain. 40 days of this stuff Noah and his family had to go through. And 200 cultures believe that their family got to wherever they were on the boat, at least their ancestors did. Okay, so 200 stories of Noah worldwide. Hawaii's got one of the most well-known ones because people talk about it a lot. And so, with this being said, how can you still think there's a Parliament? On top of the fact that the ozone layer is actually remnants or little fragments of what the Parliament was. And that's the way I look at it. Now, I could be 100% wrong, but once again, this is a theory I believe. And so, who knows what this really is. So we're going to get into it.
Don't believe in the firmament, there's proof of that barrier, video footage. And what you're seeing, I just want to break down for anyone who by chance is here and has no clue what we're talking about. We're talking about lightning sprites. This phenomenon is very mysterious for a reason. It wasn't captured on photo until about the 1980s. But these things occur at heights above 60 miles. And these things are massive, almost 60 miles wide. They make Mount Everest look like a giant stone. These things are huge and powerful, billions of volts of electricity. And when we look at what these things are, they are considered large electrical discharges made up of plasma. How does this prove there's a barrier up above us? Because we can replicate it in the lab with an invention made by Nikola Tesla known as the plasma ball. This thing can replicate lightning sprites brilliantly. And where it comes into proving that there's a barrier up above us is when you try to do this without the barrier.
So this is what the Parliament thing for flat Earth theories look like. Just pausing it in the middle, his explaining his belief that this is supposed to be the ice dome. Okay, this is supposed to be it right here. This is the Parliament. Okay, Earth is down here. Like I said, they're flat, so they're making it look like a flat map right here. Instead of giving you, oh crap, I don't know what that was. Instead of giving you what you know, they're showing you a flat Earth. And they're saying that this thing happens in the Farleman area, which wouldn't make sense. If you have ice, you can't really, there's no lightning coming through ice. Okay, water usually generates lightning. We all know this because, shoot, water helps you kill somebody quicker with electricity. So it's a little crazy. Not frozen water, but liquid water. So I don't know. It's on your belief system. Just leave something in the comments to explain it.
Barrier. If you remove this barrier, it's not going to work. That's why you see waves moving across this barrier before these things shoot out. When you flip it upside down, it looks like waves in the ocean. And they haven't just been captured on video by NOVA. They've been captured by astronomers.
So now they're saying that, okay, he's using a Tesla coil to explain it. He's cracked the Tesla coil and say, okay, you can't make electricity do this in a Tesla coil. Okay, that makes sense in a way. But still, come on. Just come on, man. Come on. I don't know how they say it on South Park. Come on, guy. Come on. But still, I don't know. It's all on your perspective. So, like I said, it's all on you. It's all on your belief. If you believe what you're hearing or, can add more to it, then leave a comment. Leave a comment, take the time to say, hey, this is what's really happening. And even if you want to go a little further, you can go on and go here to the Discord and leave even more knowledge, paragraph, a voice message. Hey, cuss me out, I don't care. And tell me that I'm wrong. But honestly, I already explained my belief on it, and this guy's explaining his by saying electricity does this by using a Tesla coil, saying you break it, you can't do anything. So saying that there's still a Farleman, and this is why electricity does what it does in these large bursts of energy. So that's his opinion. So let's see the next video. Okay, so what we have here is another theory on flat Earth. They're going to explain everything. I'm not going to get into saying anything till after the video. So because we're not just watching these and reviewing them, we're kind of dissecting them. We're kind of like analyzing them in a way where we want the truth and we want it to make sense to us. But in this case, on the basis that Earth is round, we're saying we know the truth. But in a way of trying to look at it from a point of view where we don't know what the Earth is, we got to analyze everything and make sure it's 100% accurate before we can sit there and say it's not. So we're going to give these people a fair chance, and that's what I'm trying to do, even though I seem like I'm doubting things. It just, come on, let's get to the science that proves the world is flat.
Yo, this is crazy. So this is April, 14th? It's Friday. April 14th, 2023. I'm in Oklahoma. Something is above my house, y'all. I could hear some sirens going off in the background. Crazy. Record this for a second, I'm going back inside.
Now when it's going up, that looks like sound waves beyond the sound barrier. If you go beyond the sound barrier, it makes waves like that. Once again, he's not explaining what he's seeing. Okay, this is underneath the Flat Earth Library, though, that I'm playing you guys. So if you look it up on X, you'll see the Flat Earth Library and in those videos like this. But he's not explaining anything. But I'm gonna explain to you what's going on right there. It's either a rocket or something, and it's flying up. And so if you go like over 400 400 miles an hour, you break the sound barrier, and you'll start to make these sonic waves. And that's exactly what that is. Flat Earth. If anything, it shouldn't be in the Flat Earth library. It should be in the extraterrestrial. That's just my opinion. So another Flat Earth video that doesn't explain something. Just some guys saying something. Like I said, you can go to X, look up the Flat Earth library, and you'll see what I'm talking about. There is some explainable stuff. I'm just trying to get to the stuff that doesn't explain nothing and tell me if you think it explains something. Even though that doesn't make sense, just leave your own comments and let me know. Okay, so here's a video, 2 minutes long. It even says on the bottom down here, more proof Earth is flat. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see. So far, I haven't seen too much proof of anything, and it's just a little nutty that so many people are brainwashed. So I knew this girl, and I was digging her for a minute, but then everything in her character started crumbling in front of me, and I didn't know how to explain it. Usually I don't, but by doing so and not explaining it to the woman, like, hey, you're not digging them, is a way for them to say all kinds of crazy stuff about you. And Lord knows I got so many women doing that, when really I'm just not digging the personality or what you believe in, and I'm not putting up with the bull. But this woman swore to God up and down that Earth is flat. And then even though I was talking about certain things, I can't even rename the theory right now because I haven't looked it up in a while. Sometimes I have to remember what words are because I have to read it again or whatever. But either way, whatever theory, this inch something centric. Anyway, I was trying to explain it, and I used the lunar cycle as a way to try to explain how the Earth is round, and she still didn't get it. She's obsessed with these videos because her thing was, on TikTok, and she showed me a video on TikTok of how there was I forget what it was, and all you guys know about it, but there was this event that was supposed to happen, and this was like about 3 years ago or so, and it was supposed to happen on a certain day, and it's the day that this is supposed to happen on the moon, and they're gonna cover it up, and blah blah blah, and doomed to all humans on Earth and crap, and all because of flat Earth theory, and our Earth is really flat, and none of that shit happened. And I told her none of it was going to happen. And I watched the video, I was like, look, this is all hearsay type of weird stuff. And it didn't make any sense. So I'm not even going to get into it, but I met, besides her, after that event, I met several people that are dead set on believing this crap. And all I can think of is y'all watching these videos and you don't really know your history or your science or your biblical knowledge, because it tells you right in the Bible in the beginning, as soon as he starts creating stuff, they say, God created the heaven and the earth, and he saw that it was good. That's the best part, where he goes, I saw that it was good. He even got a heavy metal song with that phrase in it. Okay. But it's like, come on now. It's like there's science all through Genesis, y'all, and don't even realize it. The coldest part. Okay. And then evolution dictates opposite. The heaven and the earth and all that, right? God created the plants and all this, right? And then it tells you he created the sun before plants, right? But then, when you get to reading about evolution, it says the plants came before the sun. It's illogical, it's irrational, and it doesn't make sense because plants need the sun to grow. So this is where that crap makes no sense either. So somewhere between evolution, which is still a theory, not 100% fact, but people say it's a fact that you come from a primate, or that you came from some primordial ooze, okay, which isn't really said that much nowadays, but that's where it all bases from, is that we're from some primordial ooze, and in some cases we're from the stars. We're a star child everywhere, man. Bootsy Collins breaking it down with George Clinton, okay, and the Parliament Funkadelic. I don't got a problem with that part, but the rest of this is stupid. But anyway, let me get into it.
Oh, look at this, folks. Isn't that incredible? Yeah, this is so awesome. This video clip has already been processed. Notice how smooth it is and clear. This was captured with my camcorder, and that one is usually noisy. Look at the quality here. Wow. Now in the distance, notice the relative movement because we're in the air flying. Isn't that trippy? Look at that. Wow. You see that? That's bizarre. Can you figure out which way we're flying? It can be confusing because the background is moving to the left and the foreground to the right, and you may be thinking we're going to the right, but no, we're flying to the left. Isn't that weird? Wow, look at all that stuff way in the distance. That's into Utah. Looking way out there into Utah, past the Grand Canyon. You'll see it shortly in the next clip. Wow. Look at that. Now we're zoomed in and panning around.
So all he's doing is he's filming things, he's saying how flat it is, and that they're in a plane or something, helicopter probably, and saying, oh, look at how beautiful it is, look how flat it is, so forth. But helicopters are different than airplanes. Helicopters actually are flying cars, and you hear that from Neil deGrasse Tyson, where he explains it to, I think he explained it to Jeff, or what's his name, Rogan, Joe Rogan, and he explained the thing. They go up and down, they can move sideways, leftward, they can slide off to the right side. Especially if you watch like movies with military people, they have them all on the there with the guns and stuff, and then the helicopter will go like this, and so they'll go up like that and back. You know what I mean? The whole thing with helicopters is way different than a plane. But a plane has a curvature. It goes like this. Why does it go like this when it moves to different regions and stuff? It always got an angle going to it because of the fact that the earth is round. And so right now all he's doing is saying, oh, look at this, everything's flat. It's proving this and that. Well, it's because you're close enough to the earth, first off, and he's just showing one region. He's not steady going, he's not moving. You know, when you're in planes, usually that's what it looks like. You're just looking down at flat stuff, but they're not looking at the fact that it's moving at an angle to get to a certain place. You know, it's just, I don't know. Well, I'm gonna finish the video. He hasn't left there.
Incredible. Wow, look at that mountain. That's in Utah. That's Navajo Mountain. And that's the Grand Canyon North Rim right there. That's the...
So that's the video. It cuts off. Like I said, he's not really explaining nothing. I ain't really saying anything like that. He's a very quiet video, and I'm trying to make it so you can hear it. But really, I don't see anything happening there that proves anything that it's a flat earth. You just gotta be, you're getting brainwashed, people. You're getting brainwashed from people with bad science. So that wraps up today's videos. I mean, honestly, I don't know what else to talk about with this flat earth theory. I'll get deeper into it because there's more stuff with NASA and stuff that the flat earthers prove, or at least they're trying to prove, that the world is flat and a hoax. They say that NASA's got a lot of hoax. One where they call a guy from NASA out on top of a NASA ship or craft or rocket, whatever you want to call it. One where it's either the guy's TV's messed up or the actual ship. I can't tell. But we're going to talk about that next time I talk about flat earths. Other than that, the next episode will be long, so just brace yourself. Alright, have a good day. And remember, try to find the truth in everything. Peace out.